Hello and welcome to another tutorial. In this video we are going to be creating a bit of a Street Fighter kind of short clip. Ignore that, that's just After Effects still loading up. So for this video I've recorded some footage that we're going to bring into this composition, and we're going to get stuck right into it. So if I just bring all of these short clips up. So we've got a GIF of a Street Fighter background, we've got me being disintegrated, an energy ball, and me throwing the energy ball. So if I select all four of those and drag them into my project window on the left hand side, then we can start editing this footage together. So before I do anything, I already know how many loops I need for this, so we're just going to set up a few things on here. So if I drag this into here, you will see that it doesn't even last a second. So I'm going to drag that back out, and we're going to delete that composition that we just made with that, and I'm going to drag this throw clip in. I'm going to create a composition from this. So and this is 24 seconds, which we're going to cut down quite considerably. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come to about 5 seconds in. I'm going to be quite precise. It's going to be 5 seconds. And then I'm going to just minimize this footage to that point. So, perfect. That's happened rather easily. Then I'm going to bring this right the way back to our first frame. It's not quite. One frame out. And then I'm going to drag this back as well to about 12 seconds. Because 12 seconds it's kind of finished. This entire clip is. And that's exactly 12 seconds, which is perfect. We're going to trim the comp to work area. And now we've got a composition lasting 12 seconds. All that's in here is me faffing around on this clip here. Oh, and I've crashed After Effects, which is great. So we'll just give that a moment to orientate itself. Beautiful. So we've got an idle pose, and then I'm going to start setting up my energy ball, and then throw it. You've got to forgive the noises that I'm making on here, so I'll just mute that as well. So that is set up nicely for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the Disintegrate version of this now. I'm also going to minimize that. And again, I'm going to find the point where I'm kind of already set up in the footage. So about 5.5 seconds in. So I'm going to bring that right the way up to here, and then drag this back. And this should, in theory, marry up quite nicely. And if I minimize that, that's pretty good timing if you ask me. I'm happy with that. Alright, so I'm fairly happy with that. Now I need to bring this backplate in. With this backplate, you'll notice again that it's less than a second long. I'm just going to minimize hide both of these as well. So first things first, I'm going to scale it up so it fits this fairly decently. Let's make it a slight bit smaller, just so it fits there we go, the composition. Cool. And if I click off of here, beautiful. So I can close that, and I can bring these back up. But I want this to last the entire 12 seconds. So I know already how many times we need to loop this for it to work. So we're going to go ahead and right click on our backplate GIF, go to interpret footage, and go to main. Once we have this window open, all we need to change in here is the amount of times it loops. And I want it to loop 16 times. So that will bring it so I can drag it and make it loop an entire 16 times, and that works perfectly with 12 seconds, as you can see. Awesome. So now I want to start doing a few things in here. So I'm going to hide both, probably just my my disintegrate. So we can start looking at tracking my hand and making sure that we have this nicely tracked, so we can attach the energy ball to it and throw that along with it. So to do that, we need to open our tracker tab on our right hand side, and we're going to click track motion. What you'll notice in here is it opens up another window. We need to keep this window open for now. We will close it eventually, but right now we need to find the point that we want to track from, which I think is probably about here, because my finger's clear here. I'm probably going to use my little finger to track, because I think that's probably, no. Right, so it's a bit tricky to begin with to get this in the right place. So we're going to drag this onto there, zoom back out, and then we've got that there. Lovely. So I only want to track this about 2.5 seconds, so that's all I'm going to do. So as soon as it starts to lose its positioning with my finger, I'm going to stop, because I can animate the rest. Lovely. But I do want it to work on this pointer on its own. So now that I've got that in there, I can right click in here and create a new null object. And that should be at the top straight away. Now that we've got that, I can change this target to the null one, click OK, and then I want to apply it to the X and Y dimensions, and I'm going to hit OK there. And now we get a little red box here that's going to follow my finger for about 1.5 seconds, and then it's going to just stay still, which is exactly what we want. We only want to track it for that amount of time, because it's still going to grow at this point. I might even have a bit of a so it gets bigger and smaller and gets bigger kind of way it works, so it looks a bit nicer. And then I can start to attach my energy ball to this. So I'm going to go right back to the beginning, going to drag this energy ball in here, but I'm going to drag it on top of everything except for the null. Once it's in here, that is. We're just going to give it a moment to respond. Go on After Effects, do your thing. And we're going to drag that up to just above this null, just underneath this null here. I'm going to set the mode to screen. And when that decides to work, any moment now, there we go. I'm then going to parent this to null 1. I am only seeing these because I have these two icons highlighted in blue, which is our blending modes, our track map, and our parent and link. Okay, so now what's going to happen when we get to this 5-second sort of mark is it's going to start following this what this null is doing. So if we just watch that back, it's going to move up and down and just kind of wobble in with that. It is going to take a while to do that, but we can see a bit of movement there, so we can assume that it's working. I just want to see one more. Unfortunately, this computer is very old, but yeah, okay, I'm happy with that. I can see that it's moving. Lovely. So now that we've got that as well, so it is that frame that it starts to move at. So I'm going to position this now. So if I hit P on my keyboard, I can position this within this project and just make sure it's following the null. And it is going to take a moment to show us what it's doing, which is a little bit frustrating, but we'll get there. Just drag it a little bit more, and then we're going to go up a little bit as well. Now that we've got this in relatively the correct position, I'm going to minimize that, and I'm going to scale this down to about 10, 15, let's go 15%. Nice, that's a relatively good size. In fact, that makes me want to change where this is positioned as well. So we're going to go down a bit as well. We're going to go right in between my hands there. I'm also going to drag this across on the timeline because we've got a nice bit of growth there, so that's pretty good. We want it about there, I reckon. And then what I want to do now is I want to animate the opacity. So I'm going to start it off at 0, and I'm going to hit this stopwatch icon to animate whether or not we can see through it. And then I'm going to go to about 5 seconds where it starts to move, and I'm going to set this up to 100% opacity. So at this point we're not going to see a great deal because it also grows within the footage that I've made there. So as you can see, there we go. I might even just bring this in a little bit. Cool, that will do for now. Okay, so what I want now is I want to get rid of the green. To get rid of the green, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Effects and Presets. I'm going to search for a key light. I'm going to drag this in onto my throw, on my throw footage, and I'm going to click this color picker. I'm just going to click that. Nice. I can also do a little bit of this, just turn this up a little bit, get rid of some of the extra color on there. I am also, at this point, I'm going to bring that back in as well, so that we can see the me on the left hand side when it decides to load in, and then this, because it's on top, that's where we're going to see it. And again, I'm just going to drag this key light onto here. I'm going to pick the color. I'm just going to turn that up a bit. Beautiful. So now we have some sort of footage going on, and couldn't ask for two of me, but here you are, you've got it. But I do just want to check with the moment that the energy ball hits me, because we are going to be disintegrating this version of me on the left hand side. So whenever this kind of happens, because I still need to animate this energy ball moving towards me as well, and animate its size, which we'll get to momentarily. I think I must have hit by this point, surely. No, I've not thrown it yet. Could probably get away with bringing this back a bit. Probably not that much. Oh god, here we go. Not responding once again. Okay, I think that's a fairly decent point to start at. And we'll get to this point here, and I should just be going back to be hit by this energy ball, I reckon. No, it's still a bit soon. So that's the point of impact, I'm guessing, around this point here. It's a very quick movement. Let's just let it load up here, and then we're going to animate this energy ball. So, animating this energy ball. So we're going to still have it here. Okay, so that's where the animation ends with the tracker. So I want to see the moment that my hands kind of get as far away. There, that's the moment. So now I'm going to drag this all the way to the left. No, no. I need to animate it. So here, we need to make sure that we've hit the keyframe button. There we go, we've got a keyframe, and we should be able to just drag this to the place that we want it. And we've got not responding once again. Let's go right the way across to about there. We are going to animate the size and scale of this as well. Cool, I think that's probably about right. So let's go to scale now. So we've got this getting bigger here. We're going to animate the scale. So we're on 15. I probably want to take this up to about 50%, the size of it. So at this point, where just before we throw it, I want it to be on its final size. So I'm just going to type 50%. Just going to make sure that that is fine. Oh, come on. Come on, After Effects. Where's your magic? Nice. Might even just turn that a bit bigger. And then get rid of that. Just drag that over here. So to just before they kind of throw it. Okay. So unfortunately we're not going to be able to watch this back until we've rendered it, because it's just going to take far too long to render each frame here in After Effects. Cool. So I'm going to minimize the scale. I've got that looking as good as I'm going to get it with the computer going as slow as it is. So now I want to start disintegrating myself here. So what I need to do in here is I'm going to get a CC scatterize, sorry. I'm just going to drag that onto there. So I don't want to scatter until the energy ball hits me. So we've got the space in less than a second to kind of figure this out. So when it decides to sort itself out, that'd be great. I also want to just put a position value in here. Let's drag this down a bit of an animation in there. Cool. And then let's go back to this disintegrate. Okay. So what point does it hit me? Okay, here. So this is where I want the disintegrate to start happening. I'm going to hit stopwatch icon there to set its first keyframe. Then I'm going to come through to about 9.5 seconds. I'm going to turn this up to 100 for just as a starting point. I'm going to see what that does. That's fine, but we probably want it a bit more. Composite screen. Let's leave that. We'll keep scattering. About there, I reckon. I also want to do the same for the left and right twist. So actually it probably wasn't the right call. There we go. So we're going to make sure that they all go together, come to 10 seconds, and then go to 200, and then probably about 75 or so on both of those. Cool. So now we have this pretty much complete. Unfortunately, my computer won't allow me to watch this back at any sort of realistic speed. So I am just going to set this to render, and you guys will see this at the beginning of this video, or before I show you, or on a slide of its own before I show you how to do this. There are other techniques to do this, however, as well, but this is probably the easiest and the least damaging to my computer. Alright then, guys, I hope you've all had a good time making this, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take it easy.